Welcome to Echoes of Time, where the voices of history rise again. In the year 326 BC, the world witnessed a battle unlike any other. A confrontation between two kings, one a conqueror from the west, whose empire stretched from Greece to Persia. The other, a ruler from the east, who commanded elephants, warriors, and the loyalty of his people. On the banks of the Hydaspes, today's Jhelum River in modern-day Pakistan, Alexander the Great and King Porus would clash in a struggle that would echo through history. By the time he reached the Indus Valley, Alexander had already carved his name into the annals of history. From the Battle of Issus to the capture of Persepolis, his armies had marched unchallenged. But India was different. The land was vast, the climate harsh, and its rulers strong. For the first time, the conqueror would face war elephants, towers of living flesh and fury, creatures his men had never seen before. Porus, the ruler of the Punjab, was no ordinary king. Towering in stature, he was known for his courage and his sense of honor. His kingdom stretched along the fertile plains of the Jhelum, and he had sworn to defend it. Porus gathered his forces, infantry armed with long bamboo bows, skilled charioteers, cavalry, and above all, 200 war elephants, beasts that could crush men and horses beneath their feet. For Porus, this was not just a battle, it was a defense of his land, his people, and his pride. The Hydaspes was more than a river, it was a barrier. Its swift waters and treacherous currents made it nearly impossible to cross. On the far bank, Porus' army stood watch, determined to stop any attempt. Alexander's men grew restless. Days passed, with the two armies staring across the waters. But Alexander, master of strategy, devised a daring plan. On a stormy night, while Porus watched the main camp, Alexander led a secret march upriver. In darkness and rain, his men carried boats, crossed hidden fords, and emerged behind Porus' lines. The trap was set. At dawn, Porus realized the danger. Alexander had crossed the river. The Indian king had no choice, he marched to meet him. Across the plains, two armies faced each other, the disciplined Macedonian phalanx and cavalry. Against elephants, chariots, and thousands of Indian warriors. The silence broke with the blare of horns, the trumpeting of elephants, and the roar of men. The Battle of Hydaspes had begun. The elephants charged, their tusks sharpened with iron, their massive feet crushing the earth. Macedonian horses panicked, unwilling to face the giant beasts. The phalanx struggled as the elephants plowed into their lines, tossing men aside like straw. Yet Alexander remained calm. He unleashed his cavalry on the flanks, surrounding Porus' chariots and horsemen. He ordered his archers to target the elephant riders. One by one, the mahouts fell. The elephants, now uncontrolled, rampaged through the field, crushing friend and foe alike. The battlefield became chaos, blood, mud, rain, and the cries of the dying. For hours, neither side gave way. Porus fought with unmatched bravery, towering above the battle on his war elephant. Even wounded, he refused to retreat. At last, the Macedonians overwhelmed his forces. Porus, exhausted and bleeding, was taken captive, but not broken. When brought before Alexander, the conqueror asked, "Tell me, how should I treat you?" Porus replied with dignity, like a king. Alexander, moved by his courage, granted him not only his kingdom but lands even greater. The enemy had become an ally. The Battle of Hydaspes was a victory for Alexander, but it came at a heavy cost. Thousands lay dead. His men, weary and homesick, had faced horrors they had never imagined. The elephants had struck fear into even the bravest hearts. Though Alexander triumphed, the battle marked a turning point. His army, exhausted by years of conquest, refused to march further into India. The dream of reaching the ends of the earth was over. Yet the legacy of Hydaspes endured. It was remembered not only as a display of strategy and power, but as a meeting of honor between two great kings. On the banks of the Hydaspes, history was written in blood and rain. It was here that Alexander's unstoppable force met Porus' unshakable will. A clash of empires, a test of courage, and a story of respect. The Battle of Hydaspes remains one of antiquity's greatest encounters, a reminder that even in war, honor can outshine victory.